Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. My name is Mark Fikes Jr. This is Become the Podcast. How do you become anything you dream, you declare, you commit, and success is your next breath. So I've been having conversations about love and passion. And by the way, we're listening to Glenn Lewis. I don't know if you remember Glenn Lewis. Glenn Lewis came out with an album in the early 2000s. And I think 2003, he came out with this album called Outside My World, Outside My Window. Awesome album. I feel like every song on there is just awesome R&B album. And had an incredible voice. I think he's a songwriter, so he probably does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But his second album wasn't as cool as his first album. But I think his first album still fits. So we'll be listening to Glenn Lewis. So as I said before, I've been having these conversations about passion and love for something, right? And then when we talk about purpose, there's this obligation to get after it every single day, right? And when you talk about a purpose, you assume that within that purpose, there's a lot of love and a passion attached to whatever the purpose is, right? And so I think a lot of times we think that because we have a purpose in life and because we are passionate and we love to do something, that love just grows deeper and deeper and deeper. It grows stronger and stronger and stronger organically, right? And that's not true. You know, you might have a purpose that is given from a higher divinity, or you may have a purpose within your job, a purpose within your family. You may have responsibilities and obligations that are bigger than you, that you definitely have committed to, that you are looking to fulfill. And you may love the people that you work with, you may love the people that you work for, you may love the work that you do, but to assume that love's going to get deeper and grow stronger organically is a little foolish. There's got to be an intentional love attached to this purpose. There's got to be intentional passion attached to it. What I mean by that is, at some point, if you love something, if you are passionate about something, it's going to frustrate you. It's going to take you to the opposite end of love, right? So if hate is the opposite of love, at some point you may hate not necessarily the people that you're doing, but you may hate some of the stuff that comes with loving someone else, if that makes any sense, right? So if I'm in a relationship and I love this person, I'm passionate about this person, but at sometimes I can hate the stuff that we go through. I can hate the arguments. I can hate the tough times and the rough times. I can hate, always, trying to read someone's mind. I wish they would just be more forthcoming. Or maybe you have a job and you may love the job. You may love who you work for. You may love what you do, but sometimes you hate certain components of that job. Maybe you're a nurse. You love dealing with the patients, but you hate dealing with the parents who are not conscious of or don't recognize all the work that goes into taking care of these patients to make sure that they're good, right? So you may hate that part of it, or maybe there's something else that you love doing, you're passionate about, but you hate the administrative side of it, or maybe you love the administrative side of it, but you hate dealing with the people. At some point, no matter how much you love something, you're going to dislike certain parts of it, and that's okay. That's okay. That's why we have to be intentional. We have to condition ourselves to think about things a certain way. Yeah, I don't like this. It's not at the top of my list. But at the same time, I'll recognize that I gotta like it on some level. I gotta love it on some level, because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to do it and put forth the right amount of intention, the right amount of love into it, so that when I'm done doing my work and I give it to someone else, right, as a service, they can feel that love. They can feel that respect for the craftsmanship. They can respect all the energy and effort that I put into it. They can sense the love, right? Even though I dislike certain parts of this, they can still feel the love because of how I force myself to love what it is I'm doing. So somebody, miles and miles away will still feel the love because you put that love in there and they can feel it. So there's a necessity to be intentional and think about what it is we're doing on such a level so that when people get our work, they can feel what we felt when we were putting that work, when we were participating in that work, if that makes any sense. So that's an ongoing conversation I've been having for the past few weeks. And I bumped into someone else and we had a conversation about basically writer's block. And I think writer's block doesn't just doesn't have to be for the writer. Writer's block can be for a lot of different people, right? So anytime you have let's replace writer's block with a creative block. So anytime that you have a creative block and you can't seem to create, you can't seem to kind of get to that level of imagination and creativity that you want, that can bring on this, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm upset, I don't want to do this stuff anymore, I don't want to do this stuff right now. And so we think that because we go in and out of these moments in which we love the work and don't love the work, or we love everything that we're doing, or we hate what we're doing, or we want to do it every single day, and then next thing you know, you've gone maybe a week or you've gone several days without participating in the work. And so we start to question our love. We start to question if we are truly passionate about the work. And so as I was having this conversation, hold on 1 second. Let me check on Simon. I think he's losing it. 1 second. Okay, Simon's good. Had to go check on him. I thought he was losing his mind. He's doing perfectly fine. He's in another room playing with trucks, just having a blast. So as we start to think about these moments in which we don't want to do this thing that we said that we loved and we were passionate about, I want to let you know that, number one, that's okay. It happens from time to time. And as I said before, anything that you love and you're passionate about, you're going to experience the opposite end of that love or that opposite end of that passion. So I'm talking to this brother, and he was saying that he was getting writer's block and that he was just having a hard time creating. And then he started talking to me about his primary skill or ability or genius level talent is writing, but he also loves music. And so he said that he sometimes does the music thing, and he feels bad about doing the music thing because he knows he should be doing the writing thing more, right? And I never got the sense that he was fighting himself in terms of genius level talent. I never got the sense that he was saying, I should be writing more, although I know that I'm more gifted in music. He recognizes that his genius level talent was writing, but he was saying that the music thing complemented his passion for writing. It was something else he could do, gave him another creative outlet. It allowed himself to be creative, but just in a different way. And like writing, music can go so many different directions. And so I was encouraging him, use that as an opportunity to fuel your writing. So this is what I want to say to you all. This is the kind of the point I wanted to make. When you talk about purpose, you need hobbies. You need hobbies to take your mind off of the rigorous grind that it is on in pursuing the purpose-driven life, or the life driven by purpose. And sometimes you can use your hobbies as an opportunity to still exercise your brain, still exercise your mind, your heart, your spirit, and all of that, still exercise your person, but still get something out of that exercise that will translate to you exercising or performing at a high level as it relates to your genius level talent. So here's what I mean. I noticed a long time ago that I'm a lot more clear in my thinking when I work out. So if I'm at home and I have an argument or I'm upset or whatever the case may be, the best thing for me to do is go work out. Now, growing up in my household, my father never left the house when he was mad. He never got into an argument and went to the bar or anything like that. And if someone in your house does that, that's okay. I'm just telling you what my father didn't do. So my father always kind of stayed at home and figured it out. And whether figuring out was arguing, whether it was talking, whatever the case may be, he always stayed home and figured it out. So as I grew up and I would get into discussions and arguments with Sarah, I never thought that the best thing to do was leave. I always thought the best thing to do is you got to stay here and you got to thug it out. You got to talk it out. Sometimes you got to scream it out. Sometimes you got to, have an intelligent discussion, and sometimes you got to have an emotional discussion that doesn't have very much substance, but sometimes you just got to get the emotions out. But every now and then, I would just get an opportunity to go work out. And what I realized, after I got done working out, I would get rid of all that negative energy, and I was left with what I needed. And what I was left with was not only the energy that I needed, but also the clarity to think straight, to hear how I'm wrong, or to think through how somebody else could be wrong, not intentionally, maybe accidentally, but at the end of the day, I could better deal with someone's mistake and how it might have affected me, but I could deal with it better. And so, again, I never wanted to leave the house, but as I grew older, I realized that probably leaving the house and going for a run, leaving the house and maybe doing a basketball workout or doing something that gave me some physical activity, it helped out. So as I began to make myself aware of this reality, of this thing that I needed to function on a higher level, I started to realize that, man, when I worked out, that's when my mind was operating from a place of clarity, and I was able to be more creative. I was able to think through things better. I was able to process things better. I was able to make sense of life better. And I started to realize that my hobby, which is physical activity, to be specific, basketball, shooting, dribbling, passing, basically a basketball workout, even when I was supposed to be creating something and I was going through writer's block or creative blocks, by simply being physically active, working out, shooting, doing push-ups, running, lifting weights, whatever that may be, it benefited my genius level talent. It gave me an opportunity to lock into the zone later on. It gave me an opportunity to think through things. It kind of got rid of all of the negative energy and it allowed me to be left with what I needed. And also when it comes to thoughts, I was able to get rid of the negative thoughts and be left with what I needed. So now I've gotten rid of all of the minutia and all of the garbage, and now all the only things in front of me is what I need to kind of analyze and work with and think about and process. And I was able to take that and then take it back to, whether it was inspirational speaking or whatever the case may be, I was able to take that back to my genius level talent and able to utilize it. And so I'm telling you, figure out what your hobbies are. Figure out what your hobbies are, and don't be afraid to step away from your genius level talent. Don't be afraid to step away from your purpose for a while, right? Especially during those times when you're struggling and you can't seem to grab a hold on to creativity. You can't seem to grab a hold on to your imagination. It's a great time to say, let me just take a step back and let me just indulge in my vice. What is your vice? Hopefully your vice doesn't harm you or hurt anyone else, right? But what is your vice? Maybe your vice is fishing. Maybe it's running. Maybe it's drawing. Maybe it's, for me, working out. Maybe it's playing basketball. Figure out what's my hobby and just go ahead and do it. Now be responsible. Don't take a bunch of time away from your purpose and then replace it with this hobby, because that'll get you in trouble. If you're put on earth to sing and you spend all your time playing the piano, all right, that's going to get you in trouble. But you are supposed to be able to sing, right? That's your genius level talent. That's what you were put on earth to do. But just by simply playing the piano and not singing for a while, not focusing in on it, you're still being creative. You're still working on some craft of some sort. Your mind is still working. Your heart is still working. Your spirit is still working. You're physically working. You're still getting after it. And by simply being creative in a different way, being creative on a different platform, you still got those creative juices flowing. And now you can maybe ride the wave. And now that wave will impact your genius level talent. So don't be afraid to step away from it, especially when it starts getting hard to concentrate, hard to focus, hard to create. You've done everything you can. You're in the house by yourself. You know what I'm saying? The house is clean. It's quiet. You know what I'm saying? You got your favorite clothes on that puts you in the zone, you know, that makes you feel comfortable. You've set up everything the way you're supposed to set up. You got your tea there, you got your drink there, you got your snack. You got everything put in place so that you can be creative and operate on the highest level. And for whatever reason, you can't do it. All right, just stop it and do something else. But make sure what you do is, again, not something that's going to harm anyone else or harm yourself, right? You don't want any bad vices. When I say vice, I want a good vice, right? A healthy vice, a productive vice. But do that other thing, do that hobby, do that other thing, you know, indulge in the creative spirit of it, indulge in all aspects of it, and allow it to get your juices flowing so that hopefully when you go back to your genius level talent, you can now ride that wave, right? And the next thing is man, create, right? You know, create and don't, you know, not only create, but create and present. Don't be so caught up in it looking perfect. You know, I heard a concept from one of my mentors. I was saying that I want to do something and take it to the next level. He says, Marv, if it's 80% ready, it's good enough. If it's 80% ready, it's good enough. Figure out the 20% when you get there. Figure out the 20% on the fly. Don't worry about having a concept that's 100% ready. You know, if it's 80%, 75%, let's go. Let's get it. Right? And so what I mean is, I was talking to a young lady, and she wants to be an inspirational speaker. And she is, you know, she was taking in terms of getting her workout, she wanted to do it through email. She was emailing people and emailing positive messages and stuff like that. And I said, that's cool. I said, are you on social media? She says, no, I'm not on any social media. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on anything. I said, all right, well, you probably need to, you know, get on those platforms and start getting your workout, getting your concepts out. All right. And so I was saying, you're waiting for the concepts to be picture perfect. You're waiting for the concepts to be picture perfect. You're waiting for the big audience to appear. You're waiting for the person with the check to say, can you speak in front of, you know, hundreds of people, thousands of people, so you can start getting busy. And sometimes that doesn't happen right off the bat. Sometimes you have, you know, a lot of times you have to become a 5-year overnight success. You know, you got to become a 10-year overnight success. You got to get your reps in. And so I was saying, man, just create. Stop worrying about how it looks right off the bat. Just go ahead and create. Get your work out there. It's the best way to see, you know, what works and what doesn't work. So I was giving her some examples. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. And I love Facebook because I can do, I mean, basically, I think you do the live thing on all of them, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But I typically do it on Facebook. But I like the live format because it's a live rep. Now, regardless of how many people stay on and watch is one thing. But while people are watching, I'm going, right? I'm going. And if I make a mistake, you'll see the mistake. But that gives me some pressure. That gives me some live work, right? And so now, if I can get through a 15-minute, a 10-minute talk live, right? People are possibly going to chime in, maybe to say what's up, or maybe let me know where I made the mistake. Whatever the case may be, if people are going to do that, now it forces me to focus. It forces me to lock in and to deliver in a clean speech. And the pressure is, if I mess up, somebody's going to watch it. Somebody's going to see it. But I love it because that gives me reps when I'm not in front of a stage. I wish I could be on stage in front of people, in pressure situations, several days out of the week. But that's just not my reality right now. For all the work that I put into it, this is not my reality right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. But how do I get that pressure? How do I get that pressure so that when I'm in front of real people, right? And there's money on the line, right? And there's reputations on the line. And there's callbacks are on the line. Will I get another call back if I do this? If I go on stage and do what I'm supposed to, will I get the call back? That's on the line. So now all that's on the line. Great. Awesome. But what happens when that stuff isn't on the line? Well, I got to make sure that I'm putting myself through something and give myself some sort of pressure. So I do that through Facebook. I go on Facebook Live and I get these reps in, right? And then after I get those reps in, I can get a feel for if anybody liked it, if anybody thought it was good, see if I can get any comments, see if I can get any type of affirmation. You do the same thing with a post, whether it's a tweet or whether it's an Instagram post. You're doing the same thing. I'm going to put my work out there, whether it's a 60-minute motivational speech or whether it's a 30-minute motivational speech or whether it's a concept, whether it's a picture, whatever it is, I want to put the work out there. I look back at some of the stuff that I did and I realized that my language was different. I realized that some of what I thought was cool really wasn't cool, but I was still getting it in. I was still putting the work out there. And I wasn't getting caught up in how perfect it is. Even when I look back at it and I see how imperfect it is. This podcast is imperfect, right? But it doesn't matter. I want to get the work out. That's what I'm concerned with. I want to get the work out and get the reps in. It's almost like saying I'm not going to go play a basketball game until I'm able to go out in the backyard and make every single shot. Once I make every single shot, then I go try out for the team. That's silly. I got to say, listen, I make a lot of shots. I miss some, but I make a lot of them. Okay, I still have my deficiencies, but I also have some strengths. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I know I need to work on. I've worked on these intangibles. That's good enough. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm going to go try for the team and roll the dice and see what I can do. And my feedback is, do I get in the game? My feedback is, do I make shots? My feedback is, when I try to operate within this role, I get some success. When I operate in these other roles, I don't get success. Okay, I know exactly what I got going for me. I know what I don't have going for me, and I know in which ways I want to improve. And that's why you got to create and you got to present. And in social media, YouTube gives you an awesome opportunity to get out there and create and then also present the work. So I was telling this young lady, I said, man, get on Facebook, friend some people and put the work out there. Let them be your audience for a while. Let them tell you what's good, what's not. They even have a public private feature on there where you can just post the work out there and you can post the work and then you can recruit whatever people you want to recruit to kind of view it. And then they can give you that feedback. Right. But if you really want to be, just go all out. All right, fine. Post the work, present it, tag a bunch of people, friend a bunch of people, and see what they say. They may like it, they may not like it. It's okay. You might be some friends of some friends that you friended and they friended you back and you putting the work out there and they might have some comments for you. It's okay. Just get the work out there and present it. And again, use these social media platforms to get this work out, and don't be afraid of the criticism. And at some point you're going to have to be criticized. At some point you're going to have to listen to yourself mumble, stumble, make mistakes all over the place. You're going to have to see yourself forget your content. You're going to have to see yourself scurry through your brain trying to collect all of the stuff that you forgot and try to organize things, and hopefully that you can say something that makes sense to people. There's going to be some times when you fall flat on your face and you forget, right? But there's also going to be some times when you really piece some really good work together and you say some things that make a lot of sense and you say some things that resonate with people and you say some things that make people say, you know what? I feel so much stronger because I heard what you said. I feel so much stronger. I feel so much better about myself because I heard a little bit of your speech. Or I feel so much stronger that I can do it because I know that you're doing it. And I know that what you go through and how you are challenged and how you kind of have these insecurities and these deficits. But at the same time, you're still willing to get out there. So I know that it's something that I've been thinking about that I can now do. So the two main messages are, number one, just because you love something, it's okay to kind of hate it from time to time. Right? Got to be intentional, though. But now, figure out what other vice do I have? What other things do I love doing that I can that I can indulge in to kind of get the juices going. And make sure you have a few of these different options. You know, you ever have a few different options to get your juices flowing. For me, it really only is physical activity. Physical activity and conversation. Those things get my juices flowing, and then I'm able to come back and be creative on a high level. So I never ever worry about that moment where I can't think of what I need to write. I got a speech coming up and I can't think of what to write. I can't think of how to attack it. It's fine. I know if I go work out, I'll come up with something. If I just have some conversation with people, I'll think of something. And then once I get that creative energy going, I take it back to the drawing board and I try it and try again. Or I keep working on it. So figure out all these different ways in which you can access creative energy. The last thing is, once you get that creative energy flowing, right? And you got the juices flowing, all right? Now you start creating and you come up with something. Okay, now present it. Present it. All done? What are you all done doing? Cheez-Its? Okay. Simon's all done doing his Cheez-Its. So once you get the creative juices flowing and you create something and you finish it, all right, present it. Maybe it's not all the way finished. Okay, present some of it. Maybe you present some of it and people are like, wow, that was awesome. That was dynamic. I want some more of that. Can you, hey, when are you going to post something else? Or when are you going to finish that concept? When are you going to finish that book? When are you going to finish that speech? When are you going to finish that rhyme? When are you going to finish that poem? Don't finish it. I want to hear what the rest of it sounds like. I want to hear the rest of it so I can see what it feels like when you hear the whole thing from start to finish. Maybe you're a recording artist and you got a couple songs. Okay, post them. Let somebody hear it. Now maybe if you are, recording artist for a record company, okay, maybe you want to, you got to abide by the rules and you got to bring the work out when it's completely done. But those guys still, those people, those professionals, they'll still give you a taste of what they got, what they're working on, because they want to get that feedback. They want to put that energy out there. They want to see what does this sound like and it's unfinished, but what does it sound like? If it's pretty cool and it's unfinished, man, wait till it's finished. So create and present. Get the work out there. All right. So that's it, man. Listening to my man Glenn Lewis. It's a Monday afternoon now. And I don't know when you listen to it, that's why I always say good morning, good afternoon, and good night. But I hope this helps you out in your process. Hope this helps you out in your purpose and take some of the pressure off. You're going to get into creative blocks from time to time. That's fine. Hopefully you got some tools to get out of the funk. And then hopefully you have enough courage now to get your workout and not be concerned with how perfect it looks. All right. You remember, you're not in this. You're not in this to compete against anybody. You're competing against yourself. So all you want to do is be better than you were yesterday. That's it. Be better than I was yesterday. If I can be better than I was yesterday, that's all that matters. So with that being said, I want to get the work out today so that tomorrow I can create more work that is better than what I created yesterday. And if I do that over and over and over again, at some point somebody's going to take notice. And I'm going to get my opportunity. And then hopefully I'm ready. So with that being said, I'm done, man. Listening to Glenn Lewis, Simon's, I think it's nap time. Definitely lunchtime. We're going to give him some mac and cheese. And then who knows? Maybe Pop and Simon may go to take a nap. But with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. Greatness lives on the edge of death, and I am not afraid to die. I will fight for my dreams. I will celebrate my dreams, and I will die for my dreams. Thoughts are things, and everything starts off as a thought first and springs from a place of mindfulness and clarity. I usually say something right there, but I don't have anything to say. You all take care. I'm Marfax Jr. Done.